Hey, everybody. You can tell I'm home. I'm home. I'm back in Mexico City. Buenas noches, because it's 6 p.m. here, so it's officially Buenas noches time. Um, I did not give anybody warning that I was going to do this because up until a few hours ago, I was in the US, had to make a brief trip there, and I got back to Mexico as soon as I could. Um, like literally, I just walked in from the airport and I put my bags down, making sure my mic is on. I put my bags down. So tonight's live is going to be casual. I haven't done a Ask Me Anything Q&A since December, since last year. So if you've got questions about life in Mexico City, returning, visiting, like what is it like? Because I have some thoughts about this. What is it like after you've been living abroad for a while, going back home and visiting? Whatever y'all want to know, we can talk about it tonight. Hello, Miss Dow, Black Diamond. No, you're not late, girl. I just got here myself. um Before we jump into things, let me introduce myself just in case. I have no idea what that noise is. Just in case there is somebody new to the channel and they come across this stream, my name is Adelia Borchade. Most people know me as Picky Girl Travels the World. I have been living outside the US for 5.5 years. I reside in Mexico City. My main jam, the thing that I love the most, is helping Black women master their money so that they too can live the life that they want, whether that's living abroad, traveling the world, or doing whatever. So, like I said, I literally just got back from the US, from the airport. My flight landed about hour and a half ago, maybe an hour and 40 minutes ago. And then I had checked the bag coming back, so I had to wait for that. And then there's traffic. And so like I just barely walked into the door before it was time to go live. So I apologize for there not being a graphic. So like I said, this is a Ask Me Anything, whatever questions you have, be they travel related, be they expat life related, specifically to Mexico. If you're new here and you don't know, I've also lived in 3 other countries: Kuwait, Honduras, and China. If you've got questions about that, what else? So I'm going to go over here to the chat. Terry says, the US, how did you survive? You know what? I feel some kind of way every time I go back to the US. I was in Italy in December, early January. And when I flew back into the US, because I had to travel through the US, I couldn't travel direct from Mexico because of COVID rules. And you have to fill out the little customs and immigration form. I put my place of residence as Mexico City, Mexico. And, like that, of course, elicited lots of questions from the immigration guy. But for me, and this is not a new thing, for me, home stopped being the US a long time ago. So going back to we often equate leaving the US to immigrate to another country as sort of like breaking up, from a toxic relationship. So in a lot of ways, going back to the US is like going back to visit that ex-boyfriend. Like it's weird. Y'all don't really click anymore. You don't really like them, but so I did survive. As some of you know, I was not in the States on vacation, because if I'm going vacation, that is not where I'm going to go. My newest grandchild was born. When was he born? Thursday. It's all running together. So I was there for that. I wasn't sure how long I was going to need to be there. I was prepared to be there for about a month, but he came early, so that meant I got to come home early. So, you know, being back in the U.S., especially during the pandemic, has an extra layer of anxiety attached to it because here in Mexico, particularly in Mexico City, um, we we take the pandemic seriously. So like the amount of mask wearing, the attempt to take some kind of COVID precautions, it exists here. It's part of our everyday lives. And then to go back to the US, where I was often the only person wearing a mask, that was hard. That was hard. And I just kept thinking, I made it this far without catching COVID to my knowledge. Like I'm going to be mad as hell if I catch it fooling with these people. So, yes, I did survive. I made it back. Glad to see y'all are joining me on this live that I gave you no notice about. But I do typically go live at 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, unless I've had too much to drink and I've had jet lag. That's why I didn't go live that time from Italy. Let me see what questions y'all have. How are is it Treese? How are you adjusting to being away from loved ones? I don't think I would mind it. You know what? If there weren't children involved, I probably would never go back to the US. But right now, it's easier for me to go there versus them to come see me. Before my kids started having kids, like my youngest came to visit me in Mexico before because it was like, that's just easier. So we video chat and do all that kind of stuff. And then when I show up in person, everybody, the grandkids are like, hey, but I don't mind it because they know I don't want to be there, that I don't like living there. And like they know where I am. So hopefully everybody will eventually get passports and I won't have to go back to the US. Hey, everybody. Those of you that are like, hey, I caught a live. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Let's see. Rashima says, my mom and I are taking a 2-week scouting trip to Mexico in May. I will return to Mexico in August, figuring out which areas of Mexico I should start my sabbatical. What are your top 3 places? Well, Rashima, I don't know. What do you like? See, like, I don't like the beach. I don't like the sand. I don't like the salt. I don't like the humidity. So I'm never, if you ask me my top 3, I'm never going to pick a beach destination. So I don't know if you saw Rashida's live. Rashida's on the loose, her live on IG today, where she was talking about, this is one of those things you got to figure out for yourself. But I obviously love Mexico City. This place has everything. What's my number 2? I don't know. Because there is literally no other place that I want to spend my time. I will say I went, depending on what you're going to do during your sabbatical, like, do you just want to disconnect, decompress? I think Chiapas might be a good place to do that. I visited San Cristobal de las Casas, and I enjoyed that part of the country. I can tell you where I didn't like. I did not like Baja Sur, Baja California Sur, like Cabo. I didn't love La Paz. I actually can tell you most of the places I don't like, because for me, Mexico City is it. But if you give me a little bit more about what you're into, what's the vibe you're going for on the sabbatical, maybe I can help you out. Let's see. Hey, Vet. Okay, Alicia, don't be calling me abuelita. I ain't nobody's abuelita. I'm not anybody's mima or grandma. No, I don't get down like that. Okay, Alicia Rudd asks, do you help people reach their financial goals to live in the US and live their dreams here? Or do you help people reach their goals just to move out of the US? Or is it both? Please elaborate. Actually, um, if you caught the podcast episode that I released on Monday, where I talked to Kayla, I reiterated the fact that although leaving the US was the right move for me, I'm not like pushing that. uh, so yes, I do help people reach their financial goals, even if where they want to be is the US. Um, like I said, that wasn't the right choice for me, but I realized for a lot of other people, they would like to stay in the US. And so no, I work with those folks as well. Um, but obviously I've got experience doing the other thing too. Let's see. What do you do as activities when COVID-19 is not going on? In the before times, pre-COVID, my ass was on a plane. I was traveling. And I'm one of those kinds of travelers. I don't need to do a country or a location. I like to be there, and just explore and live. So that was my primary pre before times activity, was travel. And I would like that to be. I really thought 2022 was going to be the year that I was going to travel again. And then that trip to Italy in December and January showed me that it's more work than I want it to be. The way I live my life, I don't want to do anything that feels like work. I don't want to do things that are hard. And travel is more difficult now than it has been. Um, you know, I'm not sure where we're going now that the vast majority of people have had Omicron. Does that mean we are getting to the endemic stage of this, or are we just really biding our time until there's another variant? Um, and even if I wasn't traveling, like living here, I am always exploring, because this city is large. If you've ever been to Houston, Mexico City is roughly the same size as Houston, except there are 21 million people here. So there's so much to see, and I find it enjoyable just to explore, find new cafes, new restaurants, little teeny tiny museums that nobody's ever heard of, that kind of thing. Um, okay. Oh, wait. My computer's being crazy here. Okay. Yvette would you mind talking more about the investment challenge? I got the email, but what I wasn't sure if it's for true beginners or those investors who feel like beginners. Okay. So if y'all didn't know, I am doing a Get Started Investing Challenge that starts on Sunday. And this is the part where I should have like a link ready. So y'all give me a second to get a link ready. I told you I just got off a plane, so forgive me. Perdóname. Okay. So is it for true beginners? Absolutely. I part of the way that I can live this life that is not centered on a traditional 9 to 5 job, where I do the kind of work I feel like doing when I feel like doing it, is because I invested and I've got a nest egg that, so I don't have to stress and worry about a job so much. So I I know what it's like to be a beginner, because I wasn't born knowing this stuff. I often joke that my superpower is learning things the hard way so y'all don't have to. And I've done that. So yes, for uh the challenge is for brand new beginners. But let's say you have a 401k at work. You're technically an investor. Should you participate in the challenge? Yes, if you have a 401k, but you can't tell me what's in it, you didn't like actively research and choose those things you're invested in, you're kind of clueless. Like, I know they take the money out of my check, but I don't know where it's going. You should do the challenge as well. But if you're out there really investing on your own, this particular challenge is not going to give you any kind of insight. This is for the woman who knows they should be investing, but it's been hard to take that first step because you're afraid, or you're just like, I don't know what I don't know. And it would be really helpful if somebody would walk me through it. That is who the challenge is for. So if that sounds of interest to you, um, here is the application, and I will link this in the description as well. Uh, did that go through? Yeah, it did. Okay. So, but no, it is for true beginners. So if you've done some investing, but you're like, I don't know if I'm really maximizing my portfolio and stuff like that, I'm probably going to put something together for those people at another time. But this Get Started Investing Challenge is meant for people who either have never done it before and want some help, or you're technically doing it, but you don't really know what you're doing. That's who this challenge is for. Hope that answered your question. Yvette S. Taylor asked, how do you feel about Queretaro? Saw online a 3-bedroom, 3-bath apartment for $636 a month. It was nice. Queretaro seems nice. I was there briefly over a weekend. And I chose to stay in the Centro Histórico, because in most places in Latin America, like, that's where it's popping. That's where the action is. In Querétaro, that was not the case. Their Centro area seems to be more geared toward touristy kinds of things. So it did not bowl me over, but it is on my list of places to revisit. The weather is fairly mild. I think it's a little warmer than it is here in Mexico. It's definitely like growing. There are more and more Black expats moving there. So it would definitely be someplace I possibly considered. Okay, Rashima gave us some more details about what she's looking for on her sabbatical. Just need a strong internet connection while I work on building my business vlogging experience. Currently in Houston, going to Bali to center myself. Really, you can get good internet most places in Mexico, except, let's say, Tulum, because the infrastructure can't support all those people who are there. Like some of the sleepy beach towns, that's a harder thing to get. But any of the cities, like Querétaro, Guanajuato, San Miguel de Allende, Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, like, you could get those all there. If you want like kind of a more peaceful Zen kind of a thing, I would stay away probably from Playa del Carmen. I don't know, because it seems like it's more like, let's go out, let's brunch, let's do this. So I guess it really just depends on the vibe you want. And depending on the length of your sabbatical, you don't have to stay in one place. Let's see. Okay. Are you able to have service-based business in Mexico if you are not a native? If it doesn't matter if you are a Mexican or not, what's important if you want to start a business is that you need to have residency. And you have to have, to start a business here, you have to have residency. I interviewed, my friend is a chef. And so she has that business. She cooks, she does cooking classes. She, what's the other thing she does? There's something else she does, but her business is here. And I interviewed her in April of 2021. So if you search on my channel, we talked about that for a little bit. Okay. All right. So yeah. So I was, again, in whatever questions y'all have, I got no real plan tonight. So we're down for that. Okay. Alicia wants to know any recommendations for restaurants in CDMX near Reforma and in Colonia Juarez. Mini scouting trip happening this weekend. Well, bienvenido. Um, in Juarez, my favorite gelato place in the city is there, Joe Gelato. I know you asked for a restaurant, but y'all know how I am about food. Like, it's always going to be dessert, or a bakery is probably going to be the first thing out of my mouth. Other restaurants in near Reforma. Let me pull up my Google Maps and I can tell you what I got pinned in that part of the city. What is the place? There's a place where I like the chicken and waffles in Juarez. Petite Roquefort. I like them. Oh, another dessert recommendation. Do you like stroopwafels? There is a Dutch waffle place called Holland Waffles. I like them. They're like next door to Joe Gelato. So you can kind of make that a 1-2 punch. Like I said, I like Petite Roquefort in Juarez. Oh, masala and maíz. I don't eat a lot of what is on their menu. I see Rashida coming in here to talk trash about that Italian place. Look, that place did suck. Well, my food was fine. Rashida's food was the problem. But the reservation, what do you call them? The reviews, people were just like, oh my gosh, this is the best Italian food I've had outside of Italy, like over and over. So I was like, man, we got to go try this place. I didn't know it was going to be trifling. I really did not know. But yeah, masala and maíz is in Juarez, and that is a must. If you're going to be in the city, you need to go there. Near Reforma, I can't think of any place that I love on Reforma. Nothing's coming to mind, but yeah, definitely you want to go to Masala and Maíz. Let's see. I'm deciding. Oh, okay. I'm planning. Oh no, you're not talking to me. That's not a question for me. I'm sorry. Is it good to get an immigration specialist? I want to be completely legit. I did not use an immigration specialist, and I could have. I apparently like doing things the hard. I'm not going to say doing it yourself is the hard way. It is not complicated. It is actually a very straightforward process. The issue is, as I've told y'all before, the only thing certain in Mexico is uncertainty. So, although the process is straightforward, the actual implementation of the process doesn't always line up. So, the way getting your residency visa works is you have to apply first outside the US, outside of Mexico. That could be in the US, that could be some other country. You get basically pre-approved. They put a sticker in your passport. You have 6 months to get to Mexico to finish the process. When you enter Mexico, you got 30 days to start that process. And I have done it twice, as I initially had a work visa, which I processed myself. The company I work for did not offer me any help. They were like, look, we helped you get the visa. You need to figure out the rest. And, literally you have a list of things you're supposed to bring with you. When you get there, you double check, like, are these the things I'm supposed to have? If you don't speak any Spanish at all, you probably want to get a immigration what are we calling these people? Immigration specialists. It doesn't need to be a lawyer. If you got a friend that speaks Spanish, they can help you. It's nothing that they do. It's more of the language thing. Because even in Mexico City, where I believe there are the most English speakers in the whole country, there's like one dude, maybe two, that speak English there. So if you're not comfortable fumbling by in Spanish, yeah, you can get an immigration consultant to help you. But I've done the process twice with my limited Spanish, and I was successful. Thank you, Wendy, for the super chat. And I see you say hot chocolate, so I'm gonna take that. That's how I'm supposed to use it. Let me know if that's not what I'm supposed to do. Can I? Oops. Oops. Okay. I'm pressing buttons. I'm laughing at Rashida. Don't get the fries at the waffle place. No, go to the waffle place to get Stroop waffles. I think they also have Belgian waffles, but the Stroop waffles are on point. Alicia, do you have reservations for Quintanilla and Pujol? Because if you don't, that's going to be tricky. It's Latasha asked me, where were you in Italy? Did you visit the Umbria region? No, I didn't. I was in Venice. And then the area outside of Venice, I did a tour of several Prosecco vineyards. And drank lots of wine. And then I went to Bologna and Modena. If you want to eat good food, you need to go to Bologna. And if you got time, take a little day trip over to Modena. And then I went to Florence. And I did a quick little day trip to San Marino, but yeah, I didn't get to Umbria. Okay. Forever Free 3691 asks, I plan to take a sabbatical this summer 2022. Do I need to get a visa for 2 months? A residency visa is for people who plan to be here more than 180 days. Up to 4 years is a temporary visa. Longer than 4 years is a permanent visa. Although most consulates in the US won't give you a permanent visa unless you're retired. If you're just going to be here for 60 days, you'd come in as a tourist. You can get up to 180 days as a tourist. Given the current situation, if you plan to be here for 2 months, I would make sure that I had proof of a return flight and I could show them, like, these are the places I have booked to stay so that you can get your 60 days. Okay, Mildred wants to know, do you have health insurance, an evacuation plan? Yes, I have health insurance. Okay, when you say evacuation plan, do you mean the kind of insurance that would evacuate me somewhere else? Because I don't have that kind. Now, do I have an evacuation plan like shit hit the fan in Mexico? Where am I going to go? Kinda. I have private Mexican health insurance. I had meant to shop around before I renewed that, but life got away from me in December. And so my health insurance just renewed. Here's the thing about insurance, like when you travel. So like I have a trip to Morocco coming up. For that, the plan is to get the kind of travel health insurance that will evacuate me from Morocco if something goes wrong. I don't have that here because where would they evacuate me to? The US? I can't afford to pay for a hospital stay in the US. I don't have US health insurance. So I have Mexican health insurance. And as far as Like same thing with my travel insurance plans. Usually in the small print, they will say that the evacuation is to your country of residency. And I tend to put Mexico as my country of residency because, again, I don't want to be evacuated to the US because I can't pay them. I don't have that kind of money. Welcome, Sarita. I'm glad you were able to catch us live. Trying to get out of the US by next year. You can do it. You totally can. Okay, the comments just skipped up. Thank you. Christine said, love the wrap. I wish I had like head wrap tying skills. I don't. Like I can't repeat the same thing twice. Let's see. Thank you, Wendy. Let's see. Are there any expat groups for Black senior singles? There is 60 plus Black women expats on Facebook. Deborah is the admin for that group, and I think her YouTube channel is Passportability. I think so. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I know y'all know. Rashima asked, are you taking Spanish lessons from a local or self-taught? At the moment, for the since August of 2020. No. Wow, yeah, I guess since August of 2020, I have been taking one-on-one classes twice a week with a Spanish teacher located in Copan, Honduras. When I lived here before, I took a face-to-face intensive class at one of the universities. Self-taught was not getting it for me. I am introverted by nature. And really, when everybody tells you that if you want to learn a language, you have to speak it, they're right. And as an introvert, I'm not going to start conversations with random strangers. That's not going to happen. So I pay somebody to make me talk to them. My teacher is really good. She works at a language school in Copan. And because of the lockdown there were no tourists coming to the language school. So she started trying to get more online clients. And like I said, I'm happy with her. I don't know what my level of Spanish is, but you know, I live my life, I get stuff done. So I guess it's somewhere up there. Let's see. Do you know if it's easy to teach English in Mexico? Funny you should ask that, as I used to be a business English teacher here. That was not why I came to Mexico. That job sort of fell into my lap, and that's how I ended up getting a work visa. Is it easy? Yeah, probably. But something you need to understand is that wages in Mexico are low. So who are you teaching English to? Because if these are people who are making pesos, they're not going to be able to pay you very much. If you're working at a language school, they're going to be taking a big chunk of that. Would you be comfortable teaching English for $5 an hour? If not, you might want to explore teaching English online, but living in Mexico. I'm not saying that all jobs pay that. But there is a lot of competition because there are so many foreigners who come here and are like, oh, well, I'll just teach English. And it sort of drives the wage down. I did an interview with someone who teaches at an international school here, but on the side, she works for a company called Latin Hire. So she's based in Mexico because unlike some of those other some of those other ESL companies that used to like focus on China, that sort of thing. This company is focused on Latin America. So they only want to hire people who are in Latin America. So if you live here in Mexico, and I know that they pay more generally than what language schools are charging here. And if you give me a second, I can give you a link to that. Here it is. The video is called Teaching English Online in Latin America. There's that. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Yes, thank you, F Doctor. I didn't even mention that and I put it in the title. This is my 1 year anniversary of being on YouTube, or actually, Monday was my very first video I published on February 14th last year. It was about how to find an apartment in Mexico. Um, so yeah, thank you for that. It's wild because I never really wanted to be on YouTube. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Miss Stephanie Perry. Uh, so it's kind of wild to me that here a year later, I'm talking to almost 100 of y'all live. Um, so her question is, would you consider living or obtaining residency elsewhere besides Mexico City? Yes. Maybe a city in Italy. Possibly. Like I'm not, I my my big thing, and I talked about this, was it 2 weeks ago? We did the video on country shopping, how to country shop, how to like pick your country abroad. One of my big things is I would love to have universal health care. Technically, I do have universal health care in Mexico. It is in the Constitution. But again, with Mexico, what's written and what's in practice don't always match. The quality or the quality, let's just say that the care, that system would not be what I would want. And because that was my plan, was to get on the public health system here in Mexico, but that was pre-pandemic. The public health system basically collapsed due to the pandemic. And so I had to rethink that plan. So yes, to answer your question, I am considering residency other places. But here's the problem. Most countries, unless you have golden visa money, you got to give up something. You either got to give up money or you got to give up time. If you have golden visa money, they may say you need to come to the country 1 day a year or 1 week. If you don't have golden visa money, they want you to live in the country. Well, I really like where I live now. You hear people talk about like they want to live a life they don't have to take a vacation from. That's what I got. Like being here in this city, being in this country, like I don't have that urge like, oh, I got to get away and get on vacation, because my life is kind of like a vacation. So making that kind of commitment, I'm a bit of a commitment phobe too. So like a country saying you must be here 6 to 9 months a year, ooh, I don't love that. So I'm trying to figure out, is there another country that has universal health care but has no requirement for you to spend time in the country? But yeah, like Italy, not Greece. I didn't love Greece. Italy, Spain, Portugal right now are at the top of that list, but they all have requirements for how much time you have to spend in the country. So it's on the list. I just have to do more research. Okay. For us novice travelers or never have traveled outside the United States, folks, is there a particular country, island, or activity you recommend for us to try? Kind of crawl before you walk. Um, I don't like to label places as like, oh, this is a good country for beginners or this is a good country for solo female travelers, because I honestly think you should go where it is you want to go. Like, so I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is there an activity I would recommend that I think like everybody should try? That is an excellent question. Nothing is coming to mind right now. So I don't know. I'm trying to think. Nothing's coming to mind. I wish I had something profound to say on that, but I don't. Um, but okay, I will backtrack on that a little bit. There are countries like, I will say, if you're brand new to travel, there are some countries I think are easier to navigate if you are brand new. Um, and of course, my mind goes blank when I get ready to think of those, like Iceland. Iceland is a beautiful country. They have got this like tourist thing down to a science, is because it's not a place you need to spend a lot of time to see everything there is to see. English is widely spoken. Navigating or getting a tour to take you to points X, Y, and Z, it's fairly easy. So, like, Iceland is one of those places. Hmm, who else? I don't know. I don't know. I think Thailand works that way too. As long as you're not like too off the beaten path in Thailand, I think Thailand is another good option. Um, let's see, what other questions do y'all have? Um, so yeah, my Spanish teacher, she is a native Spanish speaker. She just doesn't speak Mexican Spanish, which some people might find that to be a problem, but it's actually I think been somewhat helpful because I am picking up Spanish, I mean, Mexican Spanish being here. So when I talk to her, there will be times when there's a word I know, but it's she's telling me a different word. And so we then have that conversation about like, oh, in XYZ country, this is what they say, but in Mexico, this is what they say. So yeah. Uh, they skipped again. The comment skipped again. Thank you, Christine. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. All right. I think I'm back to where I was. Thank y'all for all of the anniversary greetings, well wishings. Okay. Halisi asks, I got permanent residency. Do you think I need to hire someone for the second part of the process? Again, I don't think you need to. Will it be easier? If here's the thing, if you don't mind spending a few $100s just for somebody to tell you, okay, come this day, and you show up that day, you get your fingerprints, you take your picture, you get your card. It's about how much is your time worth to you. Like, it just didn't occur to me to get somebody to do it. I was just like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna go up there until I get it right. So if you just like, I want it easy, go ahead and pay somebody. If you don't mind, you see it as an adventure or a little bit of a challenge, go for it. But if you would just like, look, I want the easy way, hire somebody. What is the best way to get permanent residency? To get permanent residency in Mexico, you must prove that you have economic solvency. Those rules are set by each of the consulates, and most of them want you to be receiving a pension of some sort. This is it. 5 years, 6 years ago, you could have been 35, and if you had enough money, they would have given it to you. I'm not hearing anybody getting that anymore. But temporary residency, if you renew it for 4 years, you can convert that to permanent. So it's not a big deal. Okay. Okay, so Panama requires 2 days per year. Here's why Panama won't work for me. And I'm actually getting ready to visit Panama, so I may eat these words. It's hot in Panama. It's hot. and it is a little pricey compared to Mexico. So unless on my trip to Panama next month, I am just like, oh my gosh, I love this place, I don't see Panama happening for me. Um, let's see. Do you think Mexico City will be your home base? It is. Like, I lived in the United States for 41 years. When I left, it ceased to be my home base. Mexico City is, as for me, when I say I'm going home, I'm going to Mexico. So wherever I go from this point forward, it will be from here. When I come home or I come back, it will be here. So I have my closure from my breakup with the United States. I've moved on. Um, are there other areas where healthcare is better? Healthcare is great in Mexico. What did not do well was the public health system. Private healthcare has continued to be fabulous, but the public healthcare, because to be on the public plan, because I am a foreigner, but I have residency, I have to buy into the public system, and it probably would have cost me $400 a year. Instead, I have private private health insurance that cost me $1,400. It was like $1,440, I think, with this latest renewal. And it's the difference between on the public system going to a hospital where my friends and family would need to supply me with sheets, they would need to supply me with food, versus I can, for $1,400 a year, if I get sick, I can go to the best hospitals in the country. So that's the difference. Healthcare is great. The public system, especially if you're coming from a place like the United States, the public system is going to be difficult to navigate because they don't do anything in English. If you're in the private system, pretty much almost all those people speak English, and you like they don't make accommodations for like, oh, you don't speak Spanish. It's like, no, this is just what we do and how we do it. So so healthcare is good, but my plan of being cheap and getting on the public system here, the pandemic was like, no sis, no sis, we're not doing that. What should I expect when trying to attempt to go to Africa, France, Russia, UK? It all depends. What kind of passport are you traveling on? Like, if you are a US passport holder, you're going to need a visa to go to Russia. And they do not play about that. Because when I had to return to China at the beginning of the pandemic, my original flight was canceled and I had to fly through Russia. And they were giving me the side eye, like, you don't have a visa, we're gonna let you transit, but don't be trying nothing. Like, so it depends. It depends on what kind of passport you have, whether you're gonna need a visa, all that kind of stuff. Thank you, F Doctor. You're a breath of fresh air. We all benefit from your wisdom regarding travel. Godspeed, continue success in your endeavors. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see. I know I'm a little behind in the chat. I've picked up vocabulary. I did a video about ways that I'm learning Spanish. I have picked up vocabulary from music, from watching things on Netflix, a lot when I used to work here and my commute was an hour and a half. That's one of the reasons I don't work here anymore. Like seeing signs, reading things in context, I'd pick up vocabulary that way as well. Not a cruise ship though. I didn't like cruises in the before times. Cruises, I like to get to the place. Cruises are about the journey to the place. I did not like them. Can I book an in-person consultation with you for your time when I'm visiting in Mexico? I don't know. Nobody has ever asked me that. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Now, if you want to do an online consultation, yes. If you want to book, if anybody is out there and you're thinking, you know what, I need to talk to Adelia one-on-one about my specific situation, consultations, you can do that at bit.ly/ask Adelia. You can book a session there. And if I could spell the word consultation right, I could post the link in the chat. And there is a link in the description of this video as well. Okay, Patrice is nervous about her interview at the Mexican consulate. She's planning to move to Mexico. I wouldn't even call it an interview. Don't put so much stress on yourself. It's more like they have some box on a form they have to fill out, like, why are you moving to Mexico? You need to give them something to put in that box. I wouldn't say it is like a interview. The 2 times or actually the 3 times I've done visas. One, I didn't take the visa offer because I didn't like it. It was never an interview. It was more of, so why are you moving to Mexico? What are you planning to do? And it was like, I'm moving to Mexico because I love it there and I like the culture and I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm like, that's the extent of what I had to say. So I don't think as somebody in one of the Facebook groups, somebody asked the same question. And one of the responses was, as long as you don't say like, I'm trying to move down there to move bricks like El Chapo or, run guns, as long as you're not trying to do something illegal, I don't think there's a wrong thing you can say. I don't think there is. Okay. So, how many times do you go back to the States? I try to go as little as possible. It was much more difficult to go back when I lived in China. It seems like I have been going every 3 or 4 months. Let's see, I got vaccinated last March, and then I went in September because my oldest had COVID to help out. And then I went back. Well, I don't count being there in December because I was really there to catch a flight. That's usually when I'm in the US, that's usually while I'm there, is because I'm trying to catch a flight and I'm trying to get to some other place. And it's like, oh, okay, so I need to pass through the US. That's usually why I'm there. I don't plan like, okay, I'm planning a visit. It's usually because I need to get a flight. I want to vote, or I have ordered so much stuff that I need to like make a pickup. And so I'll combine all that stuff into one. But because here's the thing, y'all, and this is what was frustrating me this current trip to Houston. I don't have a car in the US. I don't have a house that I live in. So I have some place to stay, or, like friends or relatives or whatever. I got to impose on people. How am I going to get around? Because when I landed in Houston, I rented a car on Turo because that was cheaper than renting from the airport. I don't think it was a mile away, the place I needed to go to get the car. And if I had landed during the day when it wasn't raining and it wasn't cold and all that, I probably would have like figured out how to catch the bus or something. But I called an Uber. That Uber ride was $20. It wasn't a mile. Like that makes it hard, because how am I going to, if I'm going to visit, like vacation, like how am I going to do things and see stuff? So I rarely am there because if I don't have something to do. So it's like I visit my family, but I'm really here to vote and pick up my packages that I ordered of things that are either cheaper outside of Mexico or better quality or something like that. Okay. Um, does the private healthcare plan you have include dental? No. Um, health Healthcare plans. Okay. And I have a video on this. Hold on, let me get y'all a link for it where I talk about kind of the different ways you can be insured here. So here, health insurance in Mexico. Um, in much of Latin America, health insurance is meant to cover like catastrophic things. So, like hospital stays, not like preventative care visits, dental, that kind of thing. If you want that stuff to be covered, or if you have a pre existing condition, you should look at getting like international health insurance, which is sometimes called expat health insurance. Those plans are more like what we're used to in the US. To go to the dentist here, I expect to just pay out of pocket. I don't think the prices are going to be like ridiculous. Most places, they tell you the prices up front so you know what you're getting. So no, my plan does not include dental. My plan does not include preventative care, but it includes hospital stays, emergencies, surgeries, all that kind of stuff. Do I have any information on snowbirding? Um, Not really. I know that, of course, most of the snowbirds come down here, like to go to like Puerto Vallarta, Quintana Roo, like on the Caribbean side, and places like San Miguel de Allende, Lake Chapala, Ajijic. Uh, so I guess it's just about like what kind of climate do you want to be in when you're down here for the winter, and that'll determine where you should go. Um, have I been to Sicily? No, I was gonna try and make that happen when I was there a few months ago, but it just it was so much further away that I just couldn't make it work. So if I go back, okay, if I go back, I will probably hit up Sicily. Yeah, I see these trolls in here. I know I'm late. Thank you for the super chat, George. Let's see. Do you know if there are Black expats in Bolivia? Probably, but I don't know anybody personally. I don't have any personal connects. Um, let's see. Thank you for the super chat, Halisi. I see I'm Dr. Razorby too for the checklist, the hell yeah budget, insurance information, and for your mission. Thank you so much. Oh, y'all, these trolls are up in here. I'm trying to remove people. If y'all want to report people, I can't. Oh boy. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let's see if we got any real questions in here. I had a mod, but I guess they had something else to do tonight. I don't know. As a resident, do you still have to pay upfront for hospital stays before they will treat you? I heard stories where even if it's thousands of dollars, you pay upfront. Yes, that's not a residency thing. This is how healthcare works in much of the world. Y'all, if you have not watched the video I did on what to do when you have a medical emergency abroad, you need to. And I'm trying to find the link to that. Here it is. Medical emergency. Y'all, if there's any video on this channel Like if you only could watch one video, this is the video you need to watch. Oh, emergencies. You need to watch this. So yes, that's just how healthcare works outside the United States. You are expected to show that you can pay. This is something that has caused me a little bit of concern. I'm trying to figure out, like, a lot of the higher end hospitals here will take credit cards, but if something happens and I'm in some small town and they're like, no, you got to have cash, I don't carry more than maybe $25 cash on me. So that's a concern. Like, what am I going to do in a situation like that? And I haven't figured out an answer yet. But yeah, at the height of the first wave of COVID, or was it second wave? I can't keep track. January, this time last year, when we were on lockdown, the hospitals were at like 93% occupancy, and the few that had a little space listed out their price, and basically for a minimum 15,000 USD, you had to be able to show that up front before they would consider admitting you. It wasn't a guarantee. So yeah, that is something that I'm still trying to sort out and figure out, how do I navigate that? I mean, and it's not just a problem or an issue for foreigners who live here. If you're local and something happens to you and they want to put you in the hospital, my guess is somebody gets on the phone and they start calling people in your network to get the money together. The thing is, when you're a foreigner, your network tends to be smaller. So I don't know, this might be something me and my crew need to work out. Like, what is our plan for this? Who's going to call whom? Who's going to get the cash, that kind of thing. Do you have any words of wisdom to offer those who'd like to work on cutting ties while living in the States while simultaneously planning their escape from the US? Do it. Do it. I mean, this is not, it's reframe it. Just, how do I do this? I have a move abroad checklist that gives you kind of the categories and the things you need to consider. Let's see, do I have a URL for that? And we've said this before, start connecting with other people who want to do the same thing. That way, the people in your current circle in the US, they may not see your vision. So, find other people to talk to. And an easy way to do that is online through Facebook groups or the Expat app, XPAT. You can connect with other Black people who are moving abroad. Here is the link for the checklist if you don't have that. But yeah, you do it. Okay, let's see. Okay, glad to help, Latoya. You want to be warm, and Linda is thinking about Snowbirding. She says she wants to be warm and get away from Canada. A lot of places you could go in the US. Let's see. Need to block a few more people. Okay. If I keep my USA remote job and relocate to Mexico, would my United Healthcare be honored? Probably not, unless there is something specifically in that plan. And here's the thing, y'all. Let's think about how insurance companies function in the United States. Think about all the hoops you got to go through to make sure you're going to a doctor that's in the network that's covered. Do you think they're going to be cool with some doctor or some hospital in another country? Generally speaking, no. So you would need a policy to cover you when you are outside the US. There are a lot of people who keep a US policy, but I've already told y'all, my life is here. There's no point in me keeping a US policy. I can't afford healthcare in the US. Like, that's not how I'm trying to spend my money. So, but yeah, no, I would look at getting a policy to cover you outside the US. Okay, let's see. What other questions do we have? Oh, y'all are sweet. Um, okay. So basically, it would be a good risk management to keep 5,000 in a separate account for emergency health care. Basically, basically, um, because the what it's going to cost you, the treatment, is going to be less than it would in the US. So like, that would be a drop in the bucket. 5K would be a drop in the bucket in the US. Someplace like here, that could cover a whole lot. Um, what else was I going to say about that? Yeah. So no, I've actually had a conversation with a friend of mine where we've discussed this concern. We just haven't figured out our plan yet. Did you take into consideration the price hikes that's happening because expats are willing to pay high prices being asked for apartments and homes? Yeah, and I kind of wish they would leave. I am very fortunate in that my rent did not go up when I renewed my lease because that was going to be the big deal breaker for me. I would like to be. There is nothing wrong with the location of my apartment, but I don't live like in the heat of the action. I'm a little adjacent, which is cool. So if I was going to move, I would look to move a little closer in, but between inflation, which is a thing here, and with foreigners, because here's the thing, a lot of the foreigners that are here now, they're not here because they want to be. The country they want to get into is closed, so they're like, I'll go to Mexico, and the byproduct of that is them driving up real estate prices were already stupid expensive here compared to the rest of the country. I am hopeful that as the rest of the world opens up, these people go to the countries they really want to be in and that prices come back down. My landlord, most leases in Mexico will specify how much your rent will go up each year. It's either an actual peso amount. Mine said that it's pegged to inflation. So technically he could have raised I think the official Mexican inflation rate was like 6% at the time that I renewed my lease. He could have raised my rent up 6%, but he didn't. And I figure it's because, hey, I pay on time. I didn't tear up his apartment. So like, let's keep a good thing going. But yeah, I know that is a concern. Um, okay. Alicia's asking about the consultations I offered. I typically offer a 60-minute consultation. There is a slight discount if you want to book multiple 60 minutes. Like you can buy them in a bundle of 3 to use as you see fit. I also have a 3-hour session where we, depending on your situation, because that's the thing, y'all, with my consultations, they are very much designed specifically for you and whatever your situation is and where you are in the process. So no 2 sessions will look alike, but I do typically 60 minutes or 180 minutes. But you can buy multiple 60-minute sessions that you can then use at your discretion, at your leisure. And it depends on what you want to talk about, what you need help with. It's really catered to what it is that you need. So there's not a one size fits all kind of structure. Wait, where's another question for healthcare? Okay, did I miss something? Thank you, Tasha, for the super chat. I don't know why that word never wants to stay in my head. Okay, here. Christine, you're asking about Juarez. You're talking about Colonia Juarez in Mexico City? Because Colonia Juarez is actually in the midst of some gentrification. So it's kind of becoming an it neighborhood. Latasha, when I say $15,000, not proof of, like, no, that was your payment to get in the door. They wanted 300, this one hospital wanted 300,000 pesos. Other hospitals wanted more than that. So yeah, this time last year was really scary because if you had a heart attack or you broke your leg or something like that, getting into a hospital to see somebody was near impossible. If you have to have so much cash on healthcare, cash for healthcare, what does the insurance do? The insurance will pay you back for whatever, like if you've got insurance, I would get that 15 grand back. The thing is, here, it's not like most of the insurances are not direct bill. So I would pay the 15,000 to get into the hospital, and then my insurance would cover that and then pay me back. Okay. Greta, you mentioned a health science, not health, a health savings account. Somebody opened an HSA, and I'm trying to remember what they used it in an ingenious way that was related to moving abroad, but I can't remember what that was now. Dang it. Dang it. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Did you make the art on your wall? No. On this wall, all of the art up here is art that either came from my travels. Like this is from an artist, a carving that was done in Hawaii. These are from Thailand. This, oh gosh, I got this on my first trip to Italy 21 years ago. I have a friend who's a photographer here in Mexico, and she took those pictures. So that's where that art came from. I do not do art. I am not that kind of an artist. Military insurance, I don't know. There is Tricare for veterans, and I don't know a lot about it, but I know that they can get health care outside the US. Let's see. Ba-ba-ba. Thank you, Miss Harriet. I appreciate your help. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Yep, 1 year this week on YouTube. Okay. Let's see. How often do you meet with other expats in Mexico City? I don't know. Y'all know I am an introvert. So, like hanging out with people, I'm very selectively social. So I don't know. I mean, uh, I usually see other people at least once a week. If I have it, I have one friend, she's very busy running her business and stuff. So I don't always get to see her every week, but yeah, I probably see people, the people I do see, because remember, I'm selectively social. I see those people probably once a week. Do people back home think you're bragging when you talk about your lifestyle? Funny you should ask this. How do you converse about it, or you just not say much? Here, while I was in Houston for these last couple of weeks, a friend of mine from college, we haven't seen each other in almost 10 years. She's living in Houston again. I was like, hey, I'm in town. Love to see you. We go to brunch. And apparently she's not been really following what I do. So she was like, so where do you live? And I told her, and she was like, well, what do you do there? And as I was describing my life, I was like, I don't do a whole lot, but that's fine because that's the life I want to live. And what I realized in talking to her and a few other people these last 2 weeks is this, as I've always known, this life that I live, it just wouldn't exist if I still lived there. And I have divested myself from the rat race. And it's kind of hard to like, what we're going to talk about. Because if you're complaining about your job, like I don't have that anymore. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. I think people just have some vague sense of nobody's really paying attention to me, maybe. I don't know. So I don't, if somebody asks me a question, I talk about my life, but I don't like say a whole lot of about what I do. I don't know. Okay. Well, okay. Louise is joking about me saying I'm selectively social. My alternative is to say I don't like people, but that kind of puts people on in a bad place. So we'll just say I'm selectively social. Uh, you know, because I really am. I am selective about how I socialize, who I socialize with, when I do, but I am also like about people in my space. I am. And I am lucky that I get to live a life where I can be. Um, am I doing any more cooking videos? That is a really good question. I don't know. I am thinking about getting me a pasta maker because after spending that time in Italy, like I'm just all like stuff don't taste right anymore if it's not homemade pasta. Thank you for the super chat by you physical 39. Thank you so much. What are the best cards to have while living abroad? African Queen One Giselle. I have a video on how to manage your money when you live abroad. It is called, I believe that's what it's called, How to Manage Your Finances when managing money while living abroad. Here is a link to that. I think you'll find your answer there. Okay, what's the best place I've ever been to? I don't know. Because y'all know I'm a geography nerd at heart. I want to go everywhere. So if I go to a place more than, or if I want to return to a place, I guess that would qualify as a favorite. So like Thailand, although it is ridiculously hot, if given an opportunity, I will be in Thailand because pad Thai and low cost massages, like I can't beat that. Iceland, I will go back to because I'd like to visit in the summer when it's not so cold. Um, the best place I've been might be Mexico City. It is literally my favorite place in the world. Um, let's see. Uh, okay. All right. Um, did I catch up? I think I did catch up. What do you have planned for your YouTube channel in 2022? Will there be changes? I don't think so. Uh, I don't think so. Is there something that y'all would like to see? Let me know. Uh, but I very much y'all know my mission. My mission is to help Black women live life on their terms. And we all know money is at the center of that. So I plan to keep helping Black women master their money. So if there is something specific y'all are looking for, let me know. But like that's the mission I'm on. So I plan to continue on that same path. Yes, I've been to Turkey, had some of the best baklava in my life in Istanbul. How being an introvert, how do you deal with Mexico City? Here's the thing. Although there are lots of people, people don't bother me. Now, I do struggle, and this is not a Mexico specific thing. I do struggle with it's a Latin, it's a Spanish speaking country thing. I struggle with small talk. I don't like small talk in English. I sure as hell don't want to do it in Spanish. However, the implications of not doing the small talk thing in Spanish, I don't want anybody to think I'm being rude. So I struggle with like, how do I make enough small talk that I meet my obligation of like, oh, we're saying hello and we have to do the little, you know, the little dance back and forth, how are you? How are you thing. But like, I don't want to do more than that. So I have to, that is a little bit of struggle thing. Yes, I do plan to be in Turkey in April. Um, yeah. And then I, can y'all hear that? I don't know what the hell is going on upstairs. It's wild. And then I probably will just travel within Mexico until December. I will be going to El Salvador. So yeah, that's the travel plan. So the summer, late spring, summer is going to be about bopping around in Mexico. Okay. Yeah, no, being an introvert here really hasn't been a problem because people let you make it. Like nobody. Now, if you are an extrovert, this is a great city because I see the extroverts post all the time about how they're looking for people to hang out with and they want to do this together and they want to do that. And they get together. I'm not living that life, and that's fine. It's fine. Um, so yeah, I'm cool with that. Uh, hold on. Mhm. Okay. Do you think Mexico City would be a good travel destination for a less experienced solo traveler? Yes. Here's the thing. People people build up Mexico City as like, oh my gosh, it's the big city, it's crazy, it's chaotic. If you've been to any big city, it'll be fine. I think the thing that'll make you a more successful solo traveler is being comfortable being uncomfortable. Don't get bent out of shape because you don't speak the language, because unless you're going to learn it before you go, that's not going to change. So just being able to sit with that discomfort and be like, okay, I don't know the language here. So what's my plan to communicate because I don't speak the language? Um, People are very friendly here. Any city that has good mass transit is a good city for novice travelers because mass transit you can navigate without needing to speak the language. If you have to depend on taxis and the taxi driver doesn't speak English, you don't speak their language, they may not have a meter. So you got to, on top of figuring out how to tell them where you need to go, you got to figure out how to negotiate a price. That's hard. Give me a rideshare app, give me a metro system, because I don't have to talk to anybody. I can read a sign, except for when I lived in China. I did struggle with that because I couldn't read the signs. So any city that has a good mass transit system, I think, can work for novice travelers. Scariest thing I've seen in Mexico? Um, I don't know that I've seen anything scary. Nothing's coming to mind. Nothing coming to mind. Um, was that my pooch knocking? No, Mia is down there asleep. That I think came from upstairs. I don't know, but it shook the whole apartment down here, whatever the hell they were doing. I rent my apartment. I don't want to make the kind of commitment necessary that you need to make to buy a place because at any moment I may decide, you know what, I want to go live in Italy for 6 months. So I don't want to buy. Uh, My biggest concern is getting my 2 dogs down. I hate that they're too big to fly in the cabin. Yes, that is a drawback. When I initially moved abroad, I moved to Honduras, which I wasn't sure what the dog culture was there. And so I had contemplated rehoming my dog because I couldn't find information online because I was moving to a country that didn't get a lot of foreigners moving there. But the fact that she can fly inside of the plane inside the cabin makes things so much easier for traveling. Cops have guns. Y'all, I'm from Texas. Everybody has a gun. So like, that's not something I'm tripped out about. Now, are they going to use their gun on me? They're not. So that's like the bonus. That's the great part about it. But folks having guns, like I said, I'm from Texas. Alrighty. I think we've done it, ladies. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Yes, I've been to Turkey. I can't read signs in Turkey. That is frustrating. But like I said, I had the best baklava of my life. And so that's really my goal in going back to Turkey. It's been my goal all along. This meetup with Exodus Summit, that just happened to give me a reason to go to Turkey. But I had always been planning, like, I need to go back and spend some time eating more baklava. I'm trying to see if there were any other last minute questions before we bring this to an end. But before we go, again, I will put a link in the description of this video if you're interested in getting into next week's Get Started Investing Challenge. I'll put the link in the description so that you can fill out the application for that. Let's see, was there anything else I needed to mention to y'all? You're definitely next week, especially those of you who are considering looking for love in these international streets. You definitely want to be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. for our live. I think you will get some of your questions answered then. Living off the grid, tiny house or bus. I am a tiny house fan, but I don't have any personal experience with that outside the US. I stayed in a tiny house at an Airbnb once, but on Stephanie Perry's channel, she interviewed Jewel, Miss Bohemian Soul, about her tiny house, and what is the other lady's name? Mama something, who does like off-grid living. So go to Stephanie Perry's channel. She has at least 2 videos on there. Thank you all for the congratulations. I go to cold places. I've been to Ukraine. I've been to Poland, Iceland. I don't like the cold, but I have been. You know, because I always envisioned that I would end up in a tiny house, because we've discussed I am a minimalist. I don't know what that would look like here in the city. There are people probably don't call them tiny houses. They just are small houses, like small living is just what people do. So that probably exists in less urban spaces. But what that looks like here in Mexico, in Mexico City, I think is just an apartment. Like my apartment is 80 square meters, which is a little bit more than 600 square feet. That's technically considered, anything under 600 square feet is considered tiny. So I don't know. Thank you, Angela, for the super chat. Okay. All right. Thank y'all so much. But like I said, next Wednesday, y'all are going to want to be here. Yes, Miss Bohemian Soul does have a YouTube channel. All right. So thank y'all so much. And I will add, as soon as I hit end on the stream, I will add the links to the description. Bye, guys.